Hey all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Monday. It's countdown day here on the channel, and today we're going to be looking at, as voted on by fans, the top 10 minions of bigger bots, right? The top 10 Transformers minions of bigger bots. A couple of people said that the topic sounded familiar to something we did earlier. I'm going to address that in a moment, but top 10 minions of bigger bots. That's going to be our topic this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it. Light them up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links, all of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member at any time. And this is the top 10 minion bots to bigger bots, right? And a couple of people said, wait, didn't we do small partner bots a while ago? Indeed, we did. And this is a little bit of a different question. So let me explain. Back in March, we did, or I thought was going to be a very simple countdown of small partner bots to bigger bots. And the way the voting ended up doing, we actually ended up doing 3 countdowns from it. And like one dealt, as I recall, just with like master bots, like headmasters and target masters and that sort of thing. Another dealt with like the cassette bots. And then I think there was like an overall top 10 of small partner bots. And people said, you know, if you had asked what is the one like minion of a bigger bot, like I would have given a different answer. Can we do that question? I said with those specific words. They said, yeah. And I had a good 15, 20 people just ask me that. And I said, well, you know, a lot of people are starting to ask me this. And I told them all the same thing. I said, I'm not going to do it now. We just done partner bots and your voting mind is fresh. But you know what? That exact wording, the one best minion to a bigger bot, we'll do it later. Well, fast forward now to 8 months. We'll see how the voting went. And if those people who said, hey, I would have voted differently, really did. Like, did we end up with anything sort of different here? Or does it sort of fall in line with the earlier list? That's not the same question, but certainly a similar question in the same ballpark. This topic and this question was explicitly asked by a number of fans with this explicit wording. One best minion to a bigger bot. So, as usual, here are our honorable mentions. Starscream, which I found strange, but the people who voted for him said, well, he's a minion really of Megatron. I mean, not so much a willing minion, but he is a minion of Megatron. Some said even Starscream's ghost, because for a very brief period he did sort of serve Unicron. That didn't work out so well, but for a brief period he did. Full Tilt for Trypticon, that made sense. Slammer for Metroplex. Spike, specifically for I guess Cerebros, although a lot of people said Spike and Fort Max, but I think they meant Cerebros. And I gotta believe that this one got the votes he did because of the recent HasLab Death Source announcement. But Tiger Chest, or Tiger Breast, if you will, ended up being another honorable mention. I gotta believe if the HasLab Death Source wasn't announced, that I don't think he would have gotten any votes. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. None of those made the list at all. They are all the honorable mentions. So who did? You know what we're going to do, baby. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Coming in at number 10, we have Cerebros. We just mentioned Spike and how Spike was a minion, I suppose, of Cerebros. Certainly a necessary component of Cerebros. And Cerebros most definitely serves Fortress Maximus. In fact, he is known as like kind of the, I guess, the commander of the command center, so to speak. Like, he services a slumbering Fortress Maximus. He is the head, the brain, the mind behind it. In fact, in Japan, this is the character. And of course, the huge thing is just his transtector, right? So, but I think the people who voted for him meant the North American version. And the general kind of consensus for the North American version is that Fort Max uses up a lot of energy, and a lot of times he slumbers. while he's slumbering, his mechanical systems, his I don't know, repairs that need to be performed, everything is handled by Cerebros. I understand the logic behind it, although some could say Gasket and Grommet, and who make Cog, would also kind of fall in line there. I get that too. But yeah, Cerebros, a servant, so to speak, a minion, if you will, of Fortress Maximus, took the number 10 slot. Number 9 is a little bit of a dark entry with Galvatron. Now hear me out, because when I first heard Galvatron, I was like, I don't know about that. Transformers the movie, Galvatron was an unwilling, admit it, servant of Unicron. Didn't want to be, didn't like it, tried to rebel a couple of times, that went very poorly. Galvatron may have led the Decepticons, but Galvatron was led, at least for a time, by Unicron, and served him with an immense amount of agony and pain. Wasn't a great relationship, but nevertheless, he was a minion of Unicron, or a herald of Unicron, if you will. And for that reason, and based on fan votes, Galvatron took the number 9 slot. So after arguably 2 unlikely entries on the list, at number 10 and number 9, we kind of get into something that I think most people will say is sort of familiar territory at number 8 with Steeljaw. Loyal, of course, to the Autobots, loyal, of course, to Blaster. He is kind of a happy-go-lucky cat who loves to track things. In fact, he is one of the Autobots' best trackers. Even in his downtime, he likes to explore scents and smells, and Earth is absolutely full of them. Yes, he does have a bit of a tendency to rust, but his loyalty to Blaster and the Autobots is repaid by them taking care of his hide, so to speak. Steeljaw, Autobot tracker. He treats the Autobots and Blaster well, and they treat him well. Sounds like a mutually beneficial relationship to me. His loyalty, his service to Blaster is second to none. And for that reason, Steeljaw takes the number 8 slot. Coming in at number 7, we go back once again to Fortress Maximus with the aforementioned Cog. In essence, Gasket and Grommet make Cog. Cog, and yes, this is only part of his body. I kind of have Cog in a number of pieces on Titan's Return Fortress Maximus, and this guy is usually like this on his forearm, so I just kind of took off the torso section, right? But long story short, he is everything to Fort Max. Yes, he isn't sentient, at least not in G1 he wasn't sentient. The drones of Gasket and Grommet, they service Fort Max. They service, I suppose, Cerebros in a way. He's warrior, defender, medic. He's everything Fort Max needs when he is trying to rest and conserve his energy. He is a loyal minion, a loyal servant to one of the biggest of the Autobots. And for that reason, good old Cog takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, we go to Beast Wars and Tarantulas' arachnoids. The little drones that he used number of times, really. They were supposed to basically serve the Predacons, but in essence they were really serving Tarantulas. They would do things like scout ahead for him, find new bases, infiltrate maximal bases, and perhaps most importantly, they are what reassembled him and put him back together after he was blown up. They, I guess, are loyal to the Predacons, but if they're loyal to any one Predacon, it's going to be Tarantulas. Tarantulas and his mindless drone arachnoids. They come in at the number 6 slot. And here we are once again at the most coveted of locations, the ever-popular halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we go once again to the Autobots and rewind. Yes, indeed a minion and loyal to, again, Blaster. This guy is also very, very valuable to the Autobots because he is a master of trivia. He knows lots of facts. He stores tons of data. He can even use that data to project a light and become a big beacon. So if Blaster was in trouble, he kind of has a built-in emergency flare, if you will. Having pretty much the answer to any question. It's like having a search engine built inside your body. That's really what this guy is to Blaster. How can you argue with the effectiveness of a minion like that, of a partner bot like that, of a servant like that, of a loyal friend like that? And for that reason, Rewind takes the number 5 slot. Now 4 is a bit of a weird one, and what I have to represent this is not going to look like the, I guess, version of number 4 that we all know and love, but number 4 is none other than Roller. Yes, I know, this doesn't have 6 tires. It doesn't really look like Roller. This is actually the version of Roller that came with the Second Chance trailer that by rights is meant to go with the Age of Extinction Evasion Mode Optimus Prime, but I have adapted it to work with the Earthrise Optimus Prime. And we all know that really Optimus is made up of 3 components, right? Himself, his bot, his battle deck, or his trailer if you will, and Roller. Roller goes into dangerous situations. Roller goes into tight spots. Roller goes to the places and does the things that Optimus can't do. And if Optimus is injured, Roller is also the one who can escape and go away. That being said, there's a whole story later on where Roller becomes a full transformer and sentient and kind of really resents Optimus Prime and kind of says like he was mistreated and whatnot. That story has never really sat well with me, but it is creative. I'll give credit where credit is due. When I think of Roller, I think of the brave little, off-road buggy that he is, that really is loyal to Optimus, that really is a part of Optimus, and that really services the Autobots the best way he can. And anytime that he was threatened as a lad and even now as an adult, anytime that he has become threatened, I've always had a little pang in my heart, if you will, because I always want the best for the little bot. And Roller, servicing Optimus Prime, comes in at the number 4 slot. And here we are at the top 3. And coming in at number 3, we have none other than Rumble. That's right, it's time to tumble with Rumble. This is the Siege cassette version that came with the 4-pack. A lot of people are getting the core class 86 now. Admittedly, that's painted better than this. I don't think I need it. He still doesn't have elbows. That's a bummer. But nevertheless, Rumble to me will always be the blue guy. I'm glad that the core 86 is blue as it should be. Cartoon is king. What do you want me to say? Nevertheless, the personality between Rumble and Frenzy is very similar, and both of these robots are exceedingly loyal to both Soundwave and to a lesser degree Megatron, right? They believe in the Decepticon cause, but they believe in servicing Soundwave more than anything else. There are times that we saw Rumble not only defend Soundwave, but we saw him pick up Megatron's fusion cannon and carry it away when Soundwave was being loyal to Megatron. We have seen him defend Soundwave as the next leader when Megatron was thrown off of Astro Train. In fact, later on, he was even one of the cassette minions that would help to rebuild Soundwave into Sound Blaster after he was destroyed. Rumble, possibly even loyal to a fault, but you can't argue with it. And when it comes to minions, he's one of the best. And based on fan votes, Rumble took the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2 is Ravage. Again, possibly loyal to a fault. Cunning, intelligent, can be well spoken even though we don't generally hear him speak. We did in Japan once or twice. A heck of a spy, a heck of a tracker. He is exceedingly loyal to Soundwave, for sure, to the Decepticon cause, for sure. Even going so far as Beast Wars, years later, with a completely different, more humanoid form for his robot, as soon as he saw so much as a recording of Megatron's last orders, what was his cry? What did he respond with? Decepticons forever. Loyalty through the ages, through the millennia. It's hard to argue with just how good of a minion this guy is to Soundwave, to Megatron, to the Decepticon cause. And Ravage takes the number 2 slot. And here we are at number 1, and it only seems fitting that number 1 is number 1 because number 1 is the very first Minion bot that we ever saw in Transformers, and of course it's Laserbeak, by far the winner. I'm pretty sure he was the winner before for the cassette bots. He may have even been the winner for the overall small partner bots, but as a Minion, yeah, undoubtable how valuable he is. I mean, great spy. He could fly, he could move silently, he could stay hidden. He was exceedingly loyal to Soundwave and again to Megatron, to the point where Megatron said, Laserbeak, you never fail me. He was even effective when it came to defense, right? Because with his blasters kind of on his back, like he could track one opponent while sending one of his blasters with a thruster to track another one. Like, he could attack multiple targets from the air. Then we could look at other versions of him. Just as loyal, just as fearsome in Transformers Prime, for example. Same in, was it Unicron Trilogy? And even in the films, Laserbeak, one of the most sinister and dangerous of all Decepticons, and arguably one of the most maniacal. Laserbeak, the name alone strikes fear in the hearts of many a bot. And for that reason, he takes the #1 slot. And that's 10 down to 1 for the Minion bots. I feel like that at least toward the top of the list, the voting still went a lot like it did when we done the similar small partner bots. I know people asked for this specific wording, but I still think that the voting kind of fell in line with what it was before. Granted, some more interesting additions here. Some of them made the list, as were previously mentioned, but we also had some other really interesting votes. Bumblebee for Optimus Prime, the Brain of Courage for Starsaber, God Bomber for God Ginrai, Action Master Skyfall's partner, Top Heavy. That was a good one. I like that one. Armada Sideways for Unicron. What else do we have here? Energon Scorponok for Unicron. I like this one, Wheelie, because Wheelie and Grimlock are like a comedy duo. Rodimus Unicronus, again, serving Unicron. Ratchet, Transformers Prime Ratchet. I thought that was a weird one for Minion Bot, but whatever. Safeguard for Vector Prime. Night Stalker. Minicon Jolt. Of course, that would be with Hotshot. The Centurion Drone. Beast Wars Megatron. Beast Wars Megatron's diagnostic drone, sorry. Waspinator for Beast Wars Megatron. Again, that's kind of like Starscream for Megatron. It's a bit of a weird one. Giza for Nemesis Prime. I like that one. Nightstick for Cyclonus. Bat Scout. Who else? Six Gun. Metro Shot. Shattered Glass Squawk Talk. Prime Megatron. This was a dark one. Prime Megatron for Unicron and Predacons Rising when Unicron took over Prime Megatron's body. Who else? Superion Maximus? I thought that was a strange one. I don't get it. Ramhorn had some votes. Black Roar Ricci. That would have been my personal vote, but I don't vote on these. And you know what? A few more, but there you go. There's a whole bunch. Let me know if your favorites made the list. If you voted differently than you did the last time we done a similar question. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube at any given time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.